Thank you all for watching. You guys are freaking awesome. Thank you for being here. This is This Week in Geek. This is actually episode 2, although this will probably be the first episode that is on YouTube. So if you're watching this on YouTube, I did not get last week's episode up. I'm really sorry. I might at some point. I don't know. I have had almost no time. But thank you very much for being here. I really appreciate it. If you are watching this on YouTube and you want to join the discussions live, you can always pop over to twitch.tv/IamJanko, where I do these live every Wednesday. I try to start at about 6:30 and then get about a half hour of like kind of greeting and hello and all that stuff out of the way, and then dig into the topics starting at 7. We got going a little bit late today, but we will still kick to the we'll still stick to the half hour segments. So our first topic today is the big news today that happened in the Division 2 universe, world, whatever. They did a state of the game today. If you're not familiar with the Division 2 game, just about every weekend they have a state of the game, which is a live stream on Twitch. I think they do it on Mixer and on YouTube also now. And it is generally their community manager, and they generally have a developer or two on there also. And they talk about the relevant issues in the game today: bugs, bug fixes, issues with the game, server updates, patch notes, like things like that. They talk about that kind of stuff. And today they did almost an hour long. Normally they do about a half hour, because at the end they do this thing called Agent Highlights, where they showcase either funny clips that happened about the division or cosplayers, art, photos from the game, because there's like a Twitter photo tag. I think it's Division 2 photos. And the best of the best, or what they see that they like the most, they showcase during Agent Highlights, which is pretty cool, right? It really does, in my opinion, kind of build a cool sense of community. And in that, sorry, my screen that I had lined up is screwed up. Anyway, so today they have been teasing that for about a month now, Frederick Thylander, who is one of the main developers, has been all over Twitter talking about these massively huge, I keep making that massive pun. If you don't get it, Division 2 is developed by a developer named Massive. So I make that pun all the time, sometimes on accident, sometimes it just happens. But anyway, he's been talking and hinting at these massively huge gear changes that they're making for the game, not in time for episode 3, which comes out next month. And title update 7, but instead it'll follow sometime after that. They said today that it will come with content, that these big gear changes will come with content, with new content, and with essentially a power increase or a gear score increase. And which I thought was pretty interesting, because it essentially, to me, tells me when that's going to go live. And I firmly believe it's going to go live at year 1. It's going to go live with the launch of the year 2 activities or content. Rock on, Rapture. So yeah, that's what they said. And so that's when I'm assuming this is going to go through. They said that these changes are far too large in scope, and there's too many of them for them to basically trickle them out over time. That they really need to have all of this go live. They're going to have a PTS for it so people can test them out. But all of the gear in the game is changing. The skill, like the way skills work, are changing. And they said recalibration and stuff are all changing. So, excuse me, today they went through the first of the 3 tiers, of those 3 tiers, which was the gear. And it made massive splashes. They are ginormous changes, like massive, massive, massive changes. Dude, you're right. It's going to essentially reset the entire core of the game, because it's going to change RNG. It's going to change the way loot works. It's going to change the way builds work. It's going to change the way people engage with the content. Which we'll get into. I've got the feed up. I don't want to do the whole feed, essentially, because I don't have a way to do it in this screen. But I kind of did want to pop over here for a second so that you guys can see what exactly we are talking about, and you can see Vader a little bit better right there. Look at that. I almost just thumbed him in the dick. Anyway, so we can see here, for Overlord armaments, this stays the same. I'm pretty sure these values may have changed. I'm not sure, but they did say that all of the values that you see are subject to change because this is, work in progress. And by the way, OFP Reflex, the music, it's not, that didn't take me long at all to find the song for that fighter, but yeah, we can talk about that later. So essentially a quick looking at this, the first item, each item now has a core attribute, which can either be an offensive stat, a defensive stat, or skill. And everything can still be recalibrated. So get that out of the way. This bar underneath it shows you how close this is to a god roll stat, which is universal across the board. The way that it was explained is that weapon damage at 11.5%, I'm guessing this probably goes up to 13%. So if this goes up to 13%, the highest percentage weapon damage you can get on any piece of gear will be 13%. That's the way it kind of actually showed me at any rate. So yeah, there's that. God rolls are enabled now. The way that gear rolls right now in the game, there's like essentially a point distribution system and a pool that each piece can have a certain amount of total points, and each attribute that's and talent that's on that piece of gear takes from that pool. So if you get a super high weapon damage roll, you cannot also get a super high, in the case of this piece, you would not also be able to get a super high skill damage roll or anything else. They show some pieces later on that are god roll, and as soon as the video loads, we'll have those, but yay. Call it a pie chart? Yeah, essentially a pie chart. But then you can see here, that these pieces, this is supposedly God tier for that. They have not explained what this new skill tier is, what this system is. They're going to go into that next Wednesday. But like you can have multiple God rolls now on a single piece of gear, which I think is freaking awesome. They actually showed, when did they go over that build? Is it after this? Yeah, it's after this. So God rolls are kind of highlighted with this orange color so that you can identify them quickly. Because if you're hunting for god rolls, I actually really like that. It's a tiny small change, but I think it's pretty massive. To be honest with you, because if you're only farming for god roll, let's say you're at endgame, right? You're advanced, you've got your build pretty much min-maxed as well as it can, as far as it can get, and you're only looking for god rolls. When that piece drops, dude, you can instantly check to see, oh shit, yeah, this has a god roll. Oh, and it's what I need. Or nope, no god rolls, trash. Why won't this stupid thing load, man? Come on, YouTube. So, in this, when you're looking at your actual build, these little orange nipples, or whatever they are, indicators underneath each of the red, like the offensive, defensive, or skill icon logo, whatever, will show you whether or not it has a god roll. So this has 2 god roll abilities on it. This one has 2, this one has 2. So you can get multiple god roll items, or rolls, multiple god roll attributes on one piece. It's really, really pretty fantastic in my opinion. They're also redoing all of the talents in the game. The only gear that will have talents on it anymore after this reset, and honestly, this caused a huge bit of controversy, and I think it's going to cause a lot of discussion in the upcoming weeks, months before we get this, are backpacks and chest pieces. Backpacks and chest pieces are the only regular high-end sets of gear that will have talents on them from now on. Exotic armor, I think, will still have talents on it. They made it seem to be that. And then at one point, they went through gear set chest pieces and backpacks and showed how, because those don't have talents, but what they have is they've got essentially their own talent that makes the gear set ability over the top better. So I like those. Am I missing anything, Jack? I think that's the general gist of it. But it's going to be a huge, 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 massive change. And they're doing all of this for multiple reasons, they said. They wanted it to be easier to recognize good pieces. They wanted it to be easier to understand the gear game in and of itself. and they wanted it to be easier to recognize good pieces, to understand the gear game, and to be more intuitive so that it's easier to put together a build. Actually, I'm going to go back to that one more quick sec. We're going to go back to this. And this is why it's going to be easier to do that. If you only have a few talents, like right now, I actually went in and I was trying to make an assault rifle build. And I'm like, okay, assault rifle, what do I need? This could work, but then like I need all of these prerequisites for, to get unbreakable to work. Well, guess what? Prerequisites are gone. There are no more prerequisites on talents at all. If you want this leadership talent and you get an item that drops with it, all you have to do is put it on and bam, you have this leadership talent. So it makes it more intuitive, and then you can work on kind of building around that, right? So like this, and by the way, this talent is blowing my mind. I want this talent because I really, really like tank roles. So this is going to force people to choose roles and to accentuate those roles within combat, in group, and in solo play. So, if I've got this, performing a cover-to-cover move grants 20% of my armor as bonus armor to me and all of my allies for 10 seconds. So if I have 200,000 armor and I go cover to cover, I'm going to give myself 40,000 armor and everybody on my team 40,000 armor from me just doing cover to cover. So if I'm playing, I don't think a sniper would be very good with this, right? Because you wouldn't be doing that much damage. But if you're, just like an assault rifle build and you're still going to be doing some damage, can you imagine if I was doing that, somebody else has this one, right? While you're within 5 meters of an ally or skill, total weapon damage is increased by 15%. And this is for everybody. They mentioned this one specifically, that like, if you are within 5 meters, total weapon damage for you and your allies is 15% higher. So if I'm running a big ass tank and let's say Jack is in there and he's running companion and we're close to each other and I do a cover to cover move, sorry, my eyes started itching, and I do a cover to cover move to get closer to him, boom, my weapon damage is going to be increased by 15% because now I'm closer to him and his armor is going to get a 40,000 armor boost because now I've just given him bonus armor. That's super cool. And then there's this empathic resolve. When you repair an ally or heal, right? Because in Division, heals are repairs. You increase their total weapon and skill damage by 20% for 10 seconds, 5% if self. So if you heal yourself or an ally, you get those. So that's pretty damn dope. I really, really like that. Yeah, and it forces you, like Jack just said, it forces you to, if you spec into DPS, you're not going to have huge armor and huge skill along with that DPS. So I honestly think these changes are going to be awesome. I don't know if it's going to dumb down build diversity. I'm really, really curious. Yo, what's up, Tokyo? How you doing? I'm really curious if it's going to dumb down builds. I've already heard the complaint that this is making the game too casual or focusing too much on the casuals. And while I completely understand it is a valid discussion, I do want to have that discussion. I want to table that discussion for now and have it either at the end of this segment or in the next segment, because my next segment was going to be something else entirely until this happened today. And then, this and Destiny 2 kind of created the second segment of tonight's show. And that is going to be, whether or not developers can actually make games for everyone anymore, or if they need to go back to being more focused on individual things. But that's next segment. If you're watching this on YouTube, that's the next video that'll go live tomorrow. If you're here on Twitch, that'll happen in 18 minutes. And if you missed that part earlier, essentially what I'm doing is I'm breaking these down. We've got 3 discussions within an hour and a half here on Twitch. I'm going to break them all down for 3 videos on YouTube. Bam, bam, bam. So like this first one should go live tomorrow at 11 a.m. Part 2, which will be that developer discussion, will go live, Friday at 11 a.m. And then part 3, which will be our last discussion, which tonight is going to be MCU news and discussion, will go live Saturday. And so that's a way for me to do this, which I really, really love, and repurpose the content and get it on YouTube also for a different audience, and kind of see if people on YouTube pick up on that and they like it, they can come in here, join the conversation, and hang out on this. And the free for all is going to stay exclusive to Twitch. So that's only going to happen here. Teamwork's going to matter more. Teamwork's going to matter more now. And I honestly think it's going to be easier to come up with build ideas, and I think there will be more unique builds. I hope. At least I hope. I don't know if I can say I think there will be. But the thing is, right now, I did not like the change that they made with talents that they recently made, where you can only have one of each talent. I did not like that move, because it basically meant there's going to be best in slot talents. Those are all going to be default for everybody. And then there's going to be people that find the best in slot talents, not just like, okay, spotter, for instance, can only be on a mask, right? So if that's best in slot for masks, everybody's going to run it that can run it for any sort of build that they can run. And that's exactly what happened. Basically, people figured out how to have, unbreakable or like these high armor talents, and to have all of this armor and still be able to put out shit tons of DPS. Because as the talents work right now, if you boost your armor, you do extra damage. Which I get why they did that, right? Because you're trying to figure out a way to make tanky characters survive and to be able to be successful solo. Because that's a big problem in MMOs. I don't know if you guys have ever played an MMO, but if you play an MMO as a pure tank, god damn, does it make grinding and playing the game solo really damn difficult, because it takes you forever to kill regular mobs. And when you get up against a boss, yeah, you can stand there and pick your ass and never die, but man, trying to whittle them down is a pain in the ass. So I get where the division was trying to go on that, but it just didn't work out. It turned into everybody being a hybrid, having high armor, high skill, and ridiculously high damage. And I'm really hoping that this new system curtails that and really makes people focus on a role. I'm tank. That's all I'm saying. And that's the thing. People, so Jack Mullins in chat, if a 4 more team runs with high DPS, a good sniper build is going to mow them down 100%, depending on how high you can get your armor. But if a 4-man team has 3 high DPSs and 1 awesome tank with that leadership ability, good luck, man. That 3-man team should be able to push that sniper and get him out. Is it Division 2 cross-platform? I'd love to squad with you. No, it's not cross-platform. They have not gone to cross-play. They don't even have cross-save. I'm waiting for them to implement cross-save. I'm crossing my fingers and praying and hoping that it'll be a year 2 thing. Because I know Sony and Microsoft both allow it and have opened it up to all developers. So I'm hoping and praying and praying and hoping that and I don't even believe in, God or religion stuff, but I'm still praying that they'll get cross save, because I hate not having my same stuff on PC as what I have on PS4. But yeah, no, I'd love to squad up with more people, but yeah, cross save yes, cross platform no. It would cause issues with the PC and console players. It's going to be the same on anything though, and to me, if you opt into it, you got no room to complain if they do it. So I wouldn't even care. If you guys haven't seen my video on YouTube about crossplay, it's in one of the things, and if I can remember when I'm editing this, I'll pop it up in the corner right there right now. But I did a whole video on why I'm against crossplay. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Damage to elites is going away, so is damage to armor other than on shotguns. I think those 2 things are awesome. I love those 2 changes. I really, really do. I like damage to elites. Because I think it's cool to have something that does a little bit extra damage to these guys, these elite guys that you don't see very often, or like these elite mobs that you only see as bosses, blah, blah, blah. But the problem is the higher up in content you get, the more and more of that you get, or the more and more of those mobs you get, which means that essentially it just turns into a DPS boost. And then again, if you build tank, and you stack your armor and skill, but then you have a bunch of damage to elites, and then you go into a heroic, and 80% of what you're fighting are elites, and you've got 80% damage to elites, you're doing 80% more damage, and you've got super high armor, and you've got super high skills. Yo, what's up, young fan? How you doing? So begs the question, since the mask has DTE, what will they replace it with? Well, it's going to be replaced with any of the things. Remember, there's only core attributes now, right? Well, not only core attributes, but if we go back, so like, let's say this is a mask, right? You'll have armor, and then you'll either have defensive or offensive abilities, right? There'll still be critical hit damage, critical hit chance, whatever all of those are. It's just the damage to elites will be gone. But I'm willing to bet, because the way that they were describing this weapon damage as being this bar is the god roll weapon damage that can happen on any piece of gear. I think weapon damage, armor, and skill tier, these are only core attributes. These cannot be down here. These won't be down here. These are completely random rolled, but I also believe, and this is one big complaint I do have about it, is these are controlled by, these are determined by the gear piece. So like, we might go back to Gilligard not being able to roll weapon damage or not being able to roll skill tier. There was one place that they said that. Determined by brand, core attributes, plus minus weapon damage, plus or minus skill tier, plus armor. And then they're determined by brand. So the brand is going to determine which attribute that has, which is stupid. That I do not like. That means we're going to go back to what we had before 1.6, where if you want weapon damage, you have to wear certain brands. And let's say Sokolov is one of those brands, and I'm not running fucking SMGs. I'm dicked. Now I have to waste a brand stat in order to get a core attribute that I want. Although they can be recalibrated. So hopefully they're determined by brand at drop, but you can recalibrate it. Nobody asked that question. I'm going to try to make a note to remember that and actually ask that on Twitter. You put sunglasses on my emote? Did you really? Oh, dude, I didn't even notice that, young fan. That's badass. Oh, also, here on Twitch, we've got channel points now, so I don't know how you check them, to be honest. I'm terrible, and I didn't do that research. Nailed it. But I am working on making more channel point rewards. I know I added one already, and I want some suggestions. So you can hit me up on Twitter, you can hit me up here, or on Discord. Let me know some suggestions that you guys have for channel points. Either stuff that you've seen in other channels that you really like, or things that would be cool that would be unique here. I'm going to add one, and I don't know the point value that I'm going to add to it, but I'm going to have one that's going to be a decent amount of points or something. And like, basically when you spend those, you choose a topic and I tell you a story and you get to guess whether or not that story is real or not. So yeah, we're going to have some fun with that. And you get to tell me the topic that story has to be about. So I think that'll be kind of fun. That'll be a fun one. The one I added now, I think I need to change the points because I don't know how fast you accrue these points. And I think the one I did now, that I just added is like I have to talk for a certain amount of time with an accent. I might do stuff if I start playing like the Division more often. I might do, spend a certain amount of points and pick my loadout or pick my weapon for the next 5 minutes, stuff like that. I might do things like that. For this week in Geek specifically, I want to do some for free for all. Where once we get to free for all, you pick a topic, or even make it an even bigger amount and you pick one of the main 3 topics for the following week. So I don't know. There's just a lot of ideas I have. So, and I don't think I can control how fast anybody gets those points. You look below chat and hover about the number it tells you. But my channel points are, I've got shit tons. I have all the ones I need. Yeah, and like the more you hang out in chat, the more you get, the more, if you sub, you get more. I think if you're in chat for certain events like raids and stuff like that, you also get more. I think you get more for like gifting subs and for bits and stuff like that. I don't know. But that's something we're going to talk about at Free For All also, because I'm going to start a tip goal to let you guys know where any money and bits tipped where that's going. So, and then that's also going to involve new content, basically. So yeah, we'll talk about that later. So where were we at? Somebody. I had to find out how to donate on Xbox. There's a link in my info, and you can also in chat, you can hit tip. I don't call them donations just because I like to think of it as I think of it more as like tipping your waitress or tipping your entertainer or, you know, like the piano man at the local bar, right? As opposed to like donations. I don't know why donations have always just seemed weird to me. So the link right there, https /streamlabs. Basically streamlabs.com/IamJanko is where you can donate or tip. So I don't think you can do it on Xbox. You would have to do it on your mobile or on PC, but that's how. Gear sets are changing. They are. Let me see if I can find that piece really quick. I need to get picture-in-picture in this chat. You know what? I'm going to do that right now. Bear with me a sec. Look at that. We got professional streamer stuff going on here now. Although it's taken forever. It's not as big. It's not as big as I'd like. Giggity. Okay, we'll shove this down in the corner. Chat will still be over it, so it'll be a little bit difficult to kind of make out. Uh-oh, what did I just move? God dang it. I absolutely despise Streamlabs OBS at times. Because I totally just lost that. That's going to be annoying as hell with chat over there. We'll put it over here. And we'll put it over the events. We'll move the events lower underneath that level. Where are my events? Sorry about that. This is a new show, man. We're figuring stuff out.
Hello there.
And we're working on it as we go.
Someone you have, I would say.
Yo, Sat God. Sat Gotti? Sat Gotti? What's up, man? Baby Yoda says hi. I say hi. Thank you very much for hitting that follow button and chilling with us today. I definitely appreciate it. You are awesome. How are you doing? We are talking about the state of the game for the Division 2 right now for the next 4 minutes, and then we'll get into our next topic of the night. Why? Where did my events go now? I tried dragging them. Oh, there they are. See, Streamlabs OBS, and I think it's an issue while I'm streaming. I honestly think it has something to do with my RAM or something. I don't know. Maybe it's just slow while it's actually processing. Wait, why am I dragging? Oh, son of a dick. Yo, Kage, what is up? Splinter Shield, what is up? Maybe you'll finally be able to PvP with your Splinter Shielder. Dude, you might be able to. You really might be able to. So, gear sets are changing. If I can find this stupid thing, I'll get them under the graphics so that you guys can actually see the graphic again. Sorry. This is literally only the second week of this show. So, there's some learning curves. And we're figuring some stuff out. There it is. It's got to go below that one, but above my camera. Nailed it. Okay. So essentially what you see there is, I'll get myself, oh, there we go. We got to lean way off in order to still be in frame. So basically, this is a backpack, and backpacks and chest pieces being the only two pieces with talents. So they re-upped some of the skills to make them, you know, more balanced, powerful, whatever, for not having talents. But then also, you know, it's got the 4-piece, so this has feedback loop. And on the chest and backpack, they will have a talent, essentially, that boosts the 4-piece ability of the gear set, which I honestly think is super cool because, dude, that boosts this from 10 to 50%, man. That's freaking huge. So you can wear a 4-piece with, no, that's not what I want to do. You could wear a 4-piece with, you know, one backpack, And then instead of wearing the chest piece, you can wear a different chest piece so that you have a different talent on that chest piece. And then you can wear, say, an exotic pair of knee pads or an exotic pair of gloves and get the talent from that. That's pretty damn awesome, I think. Oh, what's up, Splinter Shield? How are you? Sat Gotti. Am I saying your name right, Sat? Good evening. New here. Hoping everybody's blessed with love, happiness, health, prosperity, and glorious peace. Dude, that is awesome. Back to you, man. That's a really, really cool sentiment. Thank you very much. I'm glad that you're here. It really could be pretty cool. What do you think overall of the changes, Splinter Shield? Weapons are getting a weapon damage bar. I know, I did see that. Although in game right now they did add a base. They did add a way that you can look at the weapons base damage, and I don't know if that's that's random because I've compared those before on different gears. So they did already add it, but you got to go through 2 different menus to get to it, and you have to do that every time you log because for some reason those don't save. Yeah, next week's state of the game is going to be pretty huge too, because that's when they're getting into the discussion about skill, like the new skill tier. And I'm really curious if that is going to be like your world tier or if that's going to be based on where the item drops, right? They could tie that to difficulty and or maybe that's where the RNG part of it comes from. I'm really curious to see how they're going to handle that and exactly what's going to happen with that. But in all of that discussion, it kind of brought up another idea. Well, not really another idea, but another issue discussion that I want to have right now because, well, it's valid. And so with all of these changes that they're making right now, we've already heard the argument being made that like this isn't going to help PvP.